How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? I said, how do you do? Because you are now tuned into the Monday Night Live Stream, aka Hangout Stream, but sometimes referred to as the Chill Stream. For May 30th, 2022, brought to you by yours truly, the man, broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am, because if you don't know by now, Lord have mercy. You can visit www, that's 3 W's, .livefreeliverich.com, or simply Google my name and you can find out. Now, for those of you who know, welcome to the show. Go ahead, drop me a comment, say hello. No need to be shy. I just like to know who stopped by is all. But for the rest of you who don't, allow me to break it down for you real quick, real fast. You see, as far as I'm concerned, this is your show, and I'm just here to play producer. So what I mean by that is every Monday night, I come on here, boot up the live stream, so we all can come together, readers and writers alike. And you guys supply me with things to talk about. Or you're always welcome to just come in and hang out. And in return, I do my part to help raise awareness for various projects from around the underground scene, but more specifically, creative projects that revolve around the realm of indie publishing. Which brings me right into my first segment, where I discover books from the independent market. So let's crack right into it. Just like I said to my good old friend Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, that corn ain't gonna crack itself, Jimbo. Let's go. All right. This first one comes from Michael C. Sahd. He says, you can download the Kindle version of The Unfettered Child for free today through May 13th. Well, unfortunately, we are past that point, but nevertheless, let's check out The Unfettered Child and see what that's all about. The Unfettered Child by Michael C. Sahd. All right. Her tribe is shattered. Her parents are gone. When 8-year-old Samara faces the capture of her tribe, an unimaginable power awakens within her. Even as this magic threatens to consume her, a disembodied voice intervenes, offering guidance and helping her control these newfound abilities. Meanwhile, Samara's father chases his wife's captors across an unfamiliar terrain, but can Oren find his wife in time to save her? Will Samara learn to control her power and reunite with her family? And who is the mysterious entity traveling with her? I assume the voice in her head, or the disembodied voice he's referring to. That is The Unfettered Child by Michael C. Sahd. This would be part of a new category that I am dubbing Fantasy Under 400. I believe it's fantasy. This is Amazon has it classified under dark fantasy horror. I don't know how much of it is horror. Didn't really get that clue from the blurb alone. But it's 300, clocks in at 395 pages on the Kindle edition. If you guys have a book out on the market, you would like a shout out, just go ahead, leave a comment. That's all I need is a link, or you can just share the title of the book and the pen name of the author. That's another way you can get it to me. You can either do it here live on the stream, or anytime that I post on my social medias. All right, this next one comes from Kurt, Twitter handle, Poet First. He just has a link to his book, which is a book of poetry. We'll bring it up. Book of poetry, Articulates. We're on Poetic Grounds by Kurt Brown. Has a nice ring to it. Let's check this one out. You know, any genre, any genre, any category of book, can be fiction, can be nonfiction, so long as it comes from the indie market, is what you know. I'll just say that if it comes from the indie market, and so long as you are suggesting. You're suggesting your own work and nobody else's. So allow people to speak for themselves. This is a completely voluntary process. So everybody is responsible for their own, for suggesting their own work. All right. Articulates. We're on Poetic Grounds by Kurt Brown. Articulates. We're on Poetic Grounds. I think my title is absolutely definitive and also a most vibrant. All the respect and support I need on this pageant of poetry from everyone that comes across it will be honestly appreciated. A gentle pageant of truly clean, vibrant poetry with over 50 plus pages, preface, introduction, contents, photos, and note. Writing/publishing from the Caribbean. I will make my discipline, Writing/publishing from the Caribbean. I will make my description concise. I trust that a calm, poetic eloquence is admirable. And just as knowing excellence comes with each aspect in life, I will express that excellence goes out to all the articulate folks that come across my works. Your poet, Kurt. Definitely got a good scheme going on there. A rhyming scheme. I like that. Sound of that. Let's see. Categorized under 45-minute literature and short reads, poetry. Now that's interesting. One thing I will note that this is under, I don't know what the deal is with that, but in your product description, Kurt, it says over 50 plus pages. However, the print length, you only have a Kindle. You only have one edition. You have the Kindle edition. You say 50 plus pages in your description, but the print length that Amazon has on here says 27 pages. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but just wanted to make note of it. So anytime you guys have a project, now here's the thing. If you guys suggest one of your books for shout out on the live stream, you are more than, like you say, I think the best way for you guys to utilize this, I don't necessarily want to call it a service, because I'm doing this of my own, I'm doing this voluntarily. This is kind of like my way of giving back to the community, and also to try and kind of reach out to my peers and see if I can't get some more engagement on my channel and stuff like that. But I think that one way of doing this is, like, if you guys, you know, you have multiple books, don't just, I would suggest, don't just blast your author page or anything like that. I would say just do it one book at a time. So suggest, like, give me a link, drop me a link to like one book at a time, and I'll give that individual book each their own exclusive shout out. And I think that that's how you can get the most out of this live stream experience. And anytime, if you guys have been on the show before, and if you guys have been on the live stream before, you're always welcome. Come back anytime you have a new release. Anytime you have a new release, just let me know, and I'll put it on the show. Simple as that. I'm doing this for you guys. You know, this is the type of stuff that I personally would like to see more of from the community. To be quite frank, you know, I know there's already plenty of content creators out there that do a great job. They do more of like the talk show style podcasts, where it's like a one-on-one thing with the artists, which I'm not ruling out becoming a part of myself. I just haven't, no one's asked me to be on their show yet. That's all. We have this next one. I'm not going to pronounce his name on this screen because the picture's too small. I'll wait till I get to the product page. He says, the kingdom, actually, I have it right here. This next one is called Move In or Miss Out on Life. Amazing Realities of a Unique Kingdom by Elijah Olusegun Oluwole. Olusegun Oluwole. The kingdom concept is not such that could be safely replaced by any teaching or doctrine, no matter how deep or grandeur it may sound, and no matter the level of earthly profits it may yield. Available on Amazon and Kindle. Okay. A little bit perplexed, but we shall find out. A little bit smoother on these transitions, I have to say. All right. Move Move in or miss out on life. Amazing Realities of a Unique Kingdom by Elijah Olusegun Olawole. Have you ever wondered about what life is all about? Oh, this one. It's a very, I will say right out the gate. Let me just remove this for a second. And let me just bring up this screen so I can bring something to your attention real quick. Look at this product description. Look at the length. Look at the length of this product description. Elijah, what are you doing to me, man? A blurb, dude. A blurb is roughly 250 words, okay? And you got to sell me on the product, sell me on the book, okay? What you've got here looks more like an introduction or like a prologue or something, man. I've read a little bit of this before the show, and it's like you're breaking into sermon, dude. You want to leave an air of mystery. Just a little tip, leave an air of mystery when you're writing your product description. Because you just want to sell, you save the ideas. You don't want to sell me on the idea. You're not trying to sell me on the ideas or the ideas contained within the book. You save that for the story or what's inside the book. Just a little, just a little tip from one writer to another. But let's go ahead and read it and see what he has to say. Have you ever wondered about what life is all about? Maybe you have even tried religion, but discovered they are not worth it. I have good news for you, yeah? One of the reasons why religions fail to deliver what they promise is that they are oftentimes human attempts at finding their paths beyond this physical existence. This has been near impossible. While humans do not have so much difficulty in maneuvering around the universe, it has been impossible to find out what exists after death. This is because the author of life is not physical, and man was not created merely a physical being. Man is both spiritual and physical, though in his natural state he is majorly conscious of his physical existence. However, once man exits this physical life, he returns to his real original state, which is spiritual. Man is not totally unaware of this reality, but his dilemma is how to gain access to his spiritual state before death in order to enjoy his spiritual powers. How can he have a true relationship with his Maker and access his limitless resources right here on Earth? After several millennia of man groping his way into the spiritual state and being misled into different destinations by the dark force that tricked man out of tune with his relationship with his Maker, the author of life revealed himself and showed the true path to life to all men. You see what I'm saying? Like you see what I mean? Like how he's going into like a whole like introduction to the book. Like this reads like an introduction. This is not a blurb or a product description. He had previously made himself known solely to a family of people, the nation Israel, but has finally made himself available for all who will genuinely seek him. He is set to restore his rule over the earth through man. This earthly dominion was given to man at creation, but a rebellious creation who became the enemy of God's creation tricked man out of his heritage. it was this rule over the earth through man that Jesus referred to as the kingdom of God. After his departure, the followers of Jesus became the custodians of this kingdom on earth, and they made it available to as many as they came in contact with. This is those who received the good news they proclaimed. Subsequently, the church became the channel of showcasing the kingdom through the gospel they preach, kind of like what you're doing right now. However, with time, the same dark force, enemy of God's creation, often finds a way of corrupting some of these human kingdom channels by infiltrating the groups that make themselves available for him through human weakness. It has become obvious today that many church groups have lost focus of what they are called to be, while many are not even aware of the divine purpose. Move in or miss out on life. Here we go. Now we're getting to the product. Move in or miss out on life. Amazing Realities of a Unique Kingdom is a book that points the church in the direction of its kingdom foundation. That seems like a little bit of hubris there on your part. I'm not going to lie. The church, Elijah will show you the way. That's not in the product description. I just added that in. The church was built. Do you know the way? The church was built on the foundation of the kingdom of God promised to Israel and now made available to men and women across the nations of the world through their faith in Jesus Christ. Jesus spent a few years explaining the nature of the kingdom to his Jewish followers, and when he departed, the disciples followed these teachings, which became known as the Apostles' Doctrine, Acts 2:48. Chapter 2, verse 48. These teachings became the primary documents with which the apostles taught their assembly known as the church. It takes a thorough understanding of this kingdom concept to grasp the purpose of the church and then build according to the pattern laid down by the Lord. The Lord. Move in or miss out on life. Amazing Realities of a Unique Kingdom would be an essential companion to church and ministry leaders. Listen up, theologians, seminary students, Christians, and all men in general. It's a very bold claim from Elijah Olusegun Oluwole. Interesting. So I'm assuming a nonfiction, Christian church growth, philosophical, nonfiction, more like theological, maybe a mix. Moving right along, people. Too bad, don't make a decent time. We got one more book, and then we're going to get into some announcements. This next one comes from John Z. Pigeon. He says, no one reads it, but it is there forever. Hashtag depression, hashtag recovery, hashtag suicide prevention. Self-help trash pigeons. Now that's kind of funny how that comes this one comes right after the previous book. I did not plan that. That's just how it worked out, ladies and gentlemen. I swear. Self-help trash pigeons. by John Z. Pigeon. All right, there's the cover. I like that cover. It's nice. It's nice artwork on that cover there. All right, now quite the contrast. His description is very short. It looks like it's under 250 words. So pay attention because it's going to be quick. Self-Help Trash Pigeons by John Z. Pigeon. Have you ever received help from an unexpected source? Perhaps from a somewhat weird autobiographical book? I don't know. This is the story of a competitive homing pigeon. Rails, New York, Vanishing Souls, Fall, Path, Lights. I was a pigeon, and I was alone. That's it. This one comes in, man, John Z. Pigeon, man, a few words in the product description, but the book comes in at 397 pages. Amazon just has it categorized under depression. just says depression. I didn't know that was a book genre. Amazon. Anxieties and phobias as well. Did not know that was a book genre. Maybe under nonfiction, but this strikes me as a fictional tale. Maybe a bit of almost like a either strikes me as like a speculative fiction or like a mix between speculative. The vibe that I'm getting is a mix between like speculative fiction and like literary fiction, almost like an animal, like I'm getting kind of an Animal Farm kind of vibe from it, but the focus is about depression. A depressing story. Both Animal Farm is also kind of a depressing story in its own right, to be fair, but yeah, that is Self-Help Trash Pigeons. That's the books. Those are the books for this week. Each week I cover about four to five independently published or small press books from the indie market each week. If you guys want to be a part of it, you know how to make that happen. Just go ahead. Even if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead, leave a comment down below or tune into the show. You already know. Moving right along into projects and announcements. See this? Let me get a sip of water here. This segment of the show is just about raising awareness for independent projects that you may have out, or not independent projects, but independent like fundraisers, like any type of announcements that you would like me to share on the live stream and blast out to my social media accounts. This could be Kickstarters. This could be Indiegogos. This could be, if you are on Booktube, realm of YouTube, this can be readathon events, read-along events, things of that nature. Also, if you just want to have a general announcement, also submission calls as well, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. First, let's get right down to business with an Amazon author page update that Mr. David C. McLean would like everyone to know about. So he's got some business to handle. He's got some business that he would like me to share for tonight with you guys. I was torn between, because it comes from his blog, so I was a little bit torn between labeling this as a project announcement or just a general announcement, or using it as like a reading, but it is basically just a general announcement. But I'll give his blog a shout out too, down in the description below. You guys can check out his blog. He's got some other type of content on there as well. David C. McLean, he says, thanks. Blog about Amazon page update with novels, and he shares novels and books of poems from post-human poetry and prose from me and a couple of friends of his. I'll cover his section, but David, how this works is you just suggest your content, and then you're more than welcome to let your friends know about the live stream, and then they can speak on their own behalf. Themes from his work involve themes from love to deluge, deridia, mental illness, PTSD, borderline, kink, goddess, nature, and anti-natalism. So all the good stuff, all the fun stuff. Let's check it out. I thought this was pretty funny. Look at this. He's got this photo of a pigeon. I don't know what's going on with the stream tonight. Something strange going down on the stream tonight. There's quite a bit of trippy serendipity going down here. I wonder if McLean knows John Z. Pigeon. You guys know each other? He says the pigeon lies. It's just so strange how things are lining up in this stream. I did not plan this, ladies and gentlemen. So his blog, the Autoerotic Elegies, a blog about the writings, predominantly poems, of David C. McLean, also about other writers at Post-Human Poetry and Prose. So let's talk about his announcement here. He's talking about his Amazon author page update. Here is my Amazon.com author page. I'll leave the link to this specific blog post, and then you guys can check out all these embedded links for yourselves and see more from, discover more from David C. McLean that way. But David, you are always welcome to suggest specific books that you would like shout outs for as well. Come back to the live stream. I have recently updated this, approving proofs and so forth, so that all the books are available there now. The cover to the most recent book is at the top of the included pictures. Oh, okay, I see. And new one is being written right now. All right. Here is the link to the Amazon UK for those who want it. All my relevant works from post-human poetry and prose and some other places earlier are there. So he must have moved over from somewhere else, and he's like expanding, moving over, or opened up an Amazon page. There are 3 novels, all fairly unconventional. There are several chapbooks and a considerable number of books of poetry. I have reduced the prices on the older ones to conform to my current pricing, since I think the original prices were a trifle high, and the listings on Amazon now reflect this change. Themes in the books range from anti-natalist and anti-humanist manifestos, discussions of CPTSD and trauma, the goddess, Lucifer, becomings, animal, the beast, sexuality. Now, at first I didn't see the comma on that one. I always thought it was like the beast sexuality. BDSM, love, libidinal economy. That sounds interesting. And psychiatric fascism. Psychiatric fascism. Interesting. I am indebted to Deleuze and Guattari. These are all people that influenced him. I can't pronounce all these names here. I want to butcher all of them. Mother Juliana of Norwich, Gertrude Stein, and others for his inspiration. Many of these books, the vast majority, are for my wonderful muse, Emma. I saw that. I actually browsed some of his work before the live stream, and he has quite a bit of poetry books that are dedicated to this mystery muse by the name of Emma. No idea who he's referring to. Like I say, maybe it's a very personal thing, but I have to say, even though I'm not a poetry guy, I have to say by presenting your work in such a way and saying that, you know, these poetry books are dedicated to a specific subject or specific figure or specific muse, as you put it, that does add an air of intrigue to your products, I have to say. After, in other words, like a personal effect to it. After the older books, about half of the books belong to the 13-volume series of Poems for Emma, though the books written since my return to the UK on the 1st of February 2022 are not part of this series. Technically speaking, though, she remains my, quote, muse and motivates my writing. Interesting. Hints at a little bit of backstory there. Here's some of the covers. It's such titles like this: Emma Forever. Some elegies for Emma. Do me a favor, though, he goes on to write. He goes on to say, do me a favor, though, if you can, and buy from the Post-Human Poetry and Prose Spotlight at Lulu, at this link. He provides the link. We get way more money from them, and much quicker, too, since Amazon don't just fuck with their employees, they fuck with everybody. And then he goes on to talk about his colleagues' projects. We'll just stick to his. You can read the rest of it. I'll leave the link down below. And that is an announcement from David C. McLean. It's the cultural shift, my friend. This is what they like to call the new normal, I suppose. Everyone's going to be working online. Everyone's going to be working online at some point in time, allegedly. And the robots are going to take over all the manufacturing. And that's what they keep. That's I'm under the impression of. I guess we'll find out and see how that's all going to work out. See how this cultural shift is going to take place. How's the cultural shift going for you guys? Let me know. Are you guys making a living offline yet? So here's a project announcement for me, just an update. Well, not an update, but just to bring it up again, just in case you guys didn't catch it last week. I just want to bring it up again. I have launched a new project for 2022 under Live Free, Live Rich Entertainment. It's called the Storytellers Society, and I'm doing this as another project. I want to work with some people. This is my I have several ways that this year my New Year's resolution was that I was going to put in a conscious effort to reach out and try to collaborate with more people. So that means I've been writing and submitting to different blogs. I haven't submitted to any anthologies yet, but I'm open to the idea. If I can, if I find something that if I come across something that I think would be a good fit, and I think that, if you're out there and you are a small, you run an indie press or you're independent publisher and or just an indie artist and you're putting together an anthology, you'd like to make an announcement here on the live stream, maybe I could show some interest. Maybe it might be of interest to me as well. But the least that I could do is announce it here on the live stream for you guys and see if I can build some more awareness for it. If you would like to get, maybe capture the attention of some other writers that might be interested in getting involved in the project. And this is how, you guys, the indie scene works. It's very much a community-based thing. And we have to have open dialogue with each other. We have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zones and talk to people and reach out to proverbial strangers, if you will, in this, but it's the internet here. If you can't feel what my deal is I'm able to separate business and from the personal. So for me, this is very much just, it's very much business related. I want to engage with my peers, but through that engagement and networking with my peers, it's only natural that we're going to be able to get to know each other once we start working together. That's where I come from, because a lot of people, they shy away from networking. I don't know why. I mean, for me, it really should go from business first. How do you make friends with people? That's what I don't understand. Like, you can have mutual interests, yes. So like in the Booktube realm, you make friends with people online based on the type of books that you read. But I'm more involved on the Authortube end of YouTube. I read as well, but I mostly just read indie. So it's very obscure books that, from authors that a lot of people haven't heard from, but that's okay, because that's what I want to do. That's the type of books that I want to read and I want to talk about. And so I'm not really expecting to like get a whole lot of, attention from other booktubers based on the type of books that I read. However, I would like to, I'm doing this because I would like to engage with more people that I would consider my colleagues or my peers from the writing community. So, this is an opportunity. This is me creating an opportunity for you guys to, get to know me, basically, by getting involved in what it is that I have going on. And I have several different ways of you to work with me, not just one. Not just, and there's not, I'm trying, in other words, I keep trying to come up with different ways to get people involved in different projects that I have going on. And then if people are out there and, and if I see projects that you guys have going on, and I'm trying to be better about getting involved in those as well, and reaching out to more people that, that are from around the scene. I've done that in different ways. You've probably seen my tag video. That's just another way of me, trying to reach out to different people from within the community. So the Storyteller Society is another project, another way of me doing that. And the Storyteller Society is a project where you guys, what the benefit for my fellow writers out there is basically what you're going to do. Check out the Storyteller Society, go on livefreeliverich.com under the networks tab and go to writer submissions. And then basically you're just going to, it's just like a basic submission process. I have a form, make it extremely simple for you. You just write a piece of flash fiction that's somewhere between 500 and 2,000 words, and then submit that, and then I'll process it. And if it's approved for my blog or this project, and I'll publish it publicly, and you can actually get a shout out for your Amazon author page, your website, what have you, anything, because you'll have your own bio. You'll have your own page that will list all your contributions. And one reason why I didn't touch on this last week, and I'll touch on it now. The reason why you may want to contribute more than once to this project is twofold. One is because every time you submit a piece through the Storyteller Society, I give that piece its own exclusive marketing campaign. So that piece and that piece of fiction alone gets blasted through all my social medias. And then number two, so in other words, each time you do that, and if you're smart about it, what you can do is when you have a new release, think about this. Every time you have a new book that you're getting ready to put out onto the market, what you do is you reach out to me or people like me, blogs that accept submissions, and you start submitting some pieces to various blogs or whatever. You can submit a piece to this project, and it will get you a little social media juice, if you will. Get your website, get some eyeballs, get a little juice boost, if you will, for your name, for your brand, in anticipation up to a new release. And that's one way that you guys can take advantage of this opportunity. And the second reason why is because what I have as of right now, it's just a blog deal. It's just for under the blog, and it's just a project that I'm sharing on the website. However, I do have plans once I get enough, if I get enough submissions. And now here's the thing. I may only accept so many contributors, but that's neither here nor there because I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't really gotten this project off the ground yet. That's why I'm asking you guys for some help with this. If I get enough submissions to this project, what I'm thinking about down the road, not just anthologies. So anthologies would be well, let me just say I have a podcast idea in mind. So I'm going to do that separate. So instead of just reading your piece on the live stream, okay, instead of just reading your piece on the live stream, like I'm about to do in the next segment of the show, I'm thinking I might do something special for you guys, and I'm going to put together a web stream, a web series, a storytelling web series, especially for those of you who contribute to this project. So it's going to be, maybe, I don't know exactly all the details of it yet, but that's just the idea that it's kicking around in my head as of right now. And then other ideas down the road would be like if I were to take some select contributions from you guys and put together a specifically themed and use them in a specifically themed anthology and publish it. Now, if that happens, there may be monetary compensation coming your way in the future for that type of project, if I was to put that type of project together. So that's what I wanted to add about the Storyteller Society for this week. So let's move along to the final segment of tonight's show. That is reading time. This contribution comes from, this is a Kindle novella, or Kindle Vella, excuse me. Comes from a Kindle Vella contributor, author, however you want to slice it. Writer M. Frances Hastings. She writes, a werewolf-human romance. Werewolf-human romance. It's a werewolf-human. Not a werewolf and human romance. That would be bestiality. But this is a werewolf-human romance. Your Monday night, and she adds, your Monday night live looks great. Well, thanks. I appreciate the kind words. I don't get those very often. I like that. All right. So this one is titled Dreamweaver by M. Frances Hastings. We're just going to read. What we're going to do is what I do here with Kindle Vella is I read the first chapter of the series. And then you guys, I'll leave the link, and then you guys can choose whether or not you would like to follow or continue the series for yourselves. All right. Episode 1, Chapter 1, Renfest. Subtitle Carly. I guess this is from first-person perspective of Carly. It was hot. That was what most people didn't get, and what surprised traveling vendors at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. In summer, Minnesota was hot. Not an it's 50 degrees in Florida and now I need a coat type of thing, but an it's 95 degrees and you could swim in the humidity. Hot. Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes, actually had more than 13,000 of them, and all of them were quite happy to add to the heavy moisture in the air. Carolyn Carly Waite of Dreamweaver was fanning herself with a hand wool carder. Oh, third person. Carolyn Carly Waite of Dreamweaver was fanning herself with a hand wool carder sweater in the shade of the booth she shared with her friend Dawn Price. Dawn was a weaver and was working at a large loom in the shade of the shop. Carly was leaning over the rustic counter, trying to attract customers to their stall. Carly spun and dyed yarn, but right now the skeins were in the kettle soaking. She'd run out of fiber to spin, and carding at high noon on this particular day was heat stroke waiting to happen. It didn't help that they were in their garb peasant-type clothes, complete with fitted bodices. Carly's breasts were nearly spilling out of the top, covered loosely with a white peasant blouse. Her long black hair was plaited into a braid down her back, and a crown of dried baby's breath completed the ensemble. Sweat beaded on her skin ran between her overflowing cleavage and down her back and legs. If the costumes weren't so thick, she'd look like a wet mop. At least she wasn't one of the characters who needed to be meandered out in the sun among the press of the first day crowd. Then the heavy costume might just have killed her. "How's it going, sis?" a teasing voice asked before her younger brother Matthew came into view down the dusty path. He leaned on the counter, giving Carly a wink and Dawn a taste of his "come on and date me" smile. Same old, Carly said, suppressing a smile as Dawn ignored her brother, per usual. "Another year, another heat wave. Global warming is real." "True," Matthew said. "But hey, when the icebergs melt, we'll finally have beachfront property." "Ha ha," Carly replied. "So what brings you in? Shorts and a t-shirt to our humble booth?" Matthew made a face. "You're never going to get me in tights. Sorry, sis." He slung a backpack off his shoulder. "Mom wanted me to give you this." He plunked a cooler down on the counter. "Ham sandwiches and Jell-O salad. Just enough for two." He made big puppy eyes at her. "Oh, get a turkey leg, you," Carly said. "You know Mom made them for Dawn and me." Frickin' bitch. "Bring some salted nut rolls back while you're at it," Dawn chimed from her loom. "Jesus." "You got it," Matthew said. "Sam," perking up a bit now that Dawn had actually spoken to him. Both women watched Matthew disappear into the crowd, Carly envying his cool outfit and Dawn checking out other assets. Dawn gave a loud sigh. "Damn, your brother is fine." "Then why won't you go out with him?" Carly asked. "It's the principle of the thing. If I wanted to be another notch on a bedpost, I'd still be with Eric," Dawn sniffed. "Ah, yes. The cheating ex-husband. Just seeing Dawn's harrowing experience with that asshole was enough to make Carly swear off love for the rest of her life. That and the stiff relationship her parents had with each other had turned Carly off the idea of happily ever after. She'd much rather sit at home and spin than deal with all the headache and heartache of a relationship. "Men take too much care and feeding," Carly agreed with a sigh. "That's right," Dawn said. "If I need something that needs cleaning up after and its ego stroked, I'll get a cat. Get used to that. Carly bust out laughing at that. You have a cat. I could always get another 6 before going head first stupid into another, Dawn trailed off, something catching her eye. Carly turned around and found herself face to face with the most beautiful pair of amber eyes she had ever seen. Oh, she said once she found her words again. Hello. Can I help you? Yes, his deep voice rumbled, almost setting the counter to vibrating as he leaned across it. He sniffed the air and inclined his head. I think you can. Kiernan. Mate. That had been the drumbeat of Kiernan Peters' whole morning. Mate. 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 Jesus Christ. That motherfucking thirsty. Usually, Kiernan would be at the Wisconsin Renaissance Festival this time of year, but circumstances had conspired against him being ready for it. So he'd opted for the later opening Minnesota equivalent. He had his tent. He had his woodworking wares. He had a vending spot. He had everything planned and prepared for the new venue, except for one major unforeseen problem. Somehow, some way, this black-haired, green-eyed, I thought he was amber-eyed. Didn't it say he was amber-eyed? Or maybe that's a different guy. Porcelain skin. Oh, okay, she's green-eyed. Somehow, some way, this black-haired, green-eyed, porcelain-skinned beauty had activated his inner wolf with the oldest genetically ingrained imperative his people had. Mate. Are you looking for yarn? Maybe a rug or a blanket? We've also got some nice table runners, and Kiernan didn't catch the rest. Kiernan didn't catch the rest, basking in the sound of her voice rather than the words. When she paused, it took him a moment to realize she was asking a question. Her soft words made his wolf roll over with a sigh and beg to be petted. If it hadn't been for the morning's influx of customers, Kiernan would have been glued to this booth the moment he'd first scented her. As it was, the scent had gotten stronger and stronger until finally, at noon, Kiernan couldn't take it anymore. Though it was probably one of the peak times for customers to meander over to his tent, his wolf's mating call had gotten so overpowering that Kiernan felt lucky he hadn't shifted. Now he saw why. She was sweating. Pretty little rolling drops he longed to catch on his tongue. Sir? His mate asked. Yes, Kiernan said, pulling his eyes up from her cleavage back up to her face. His porcelain beauty was blushing. Yarn? She asked again. Right, Kiernan said. She was normal. He could smell it. Not a wear shifter of any kind. She also gave off a tang that made him frown. It brought back memories, bad ones, but he couldn't, in his right mind, believe that fate would have given him a mate who was also a hunter. Dun, dun, dun. Bink. Very good. Decent. We got some character introductions. I think that was some pretty entertaining character introductions. Got a little bit of, I like how it was taking place during an actual event. So there was some action going on here. The Renaissance Festival kind of created a vibe. So it doesn't really say, the setting of it seems like it might be like contemporary, maybe an urban fantasy. But the fact that it's taking place in a Renaissance festival kind of gives it that medieval vibe, which I think actually makes the way the characters are. I think it works well with the way that the characters are being introduced here, because it jumps right in and it doesn't make it any type of secret that the Kiernan character is a shifter, a werewolf. A werewolf-human. So it makes it so, that jumping right into it like that, it almost makes it have like a fairy tale-esque kind of feel to it. And I think that works. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And if you guys, that's it for this live stream. If you guys have some flash fiction, an essay, or some poetry that you would like me to read, feature on the live stream, you know what to do. Go ahead. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead. You can leave a link in the comment section down below, or reach out to me wherever I post about the live stream event on any of my social medias. And I will be here for you guys next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good one.